I was yelled at, cursed at.
Lorraine Maveratis claims she was subject to sexual harassment and gender bias.
I was obligated to attend one-on-one meetings at the CEO's house by myself in an upstairs room only lit by a side lamp.
Her lawsuit claims male employees would tell women to shut up in meetings and mock female participants in MrBeast videos.
For the better part of a decade, MrBeast seemed untouchable. The most followed channel the platform had ever seen. Built by a kid from North Carolina who figured out a simple formula that nobody else had cracked. Generosity as spectacle. Cars handed over to strangers. Mortgages paid off on camera. Entire communities fed in a single afternoon. Jimmy Donaldson turned philanthropy into appointment viewing, and audiences around the world didn't just watch, they genuinely adored him. That kind of goodwill is almost impossible to manufacture. Most brands and public figures spend years trying to cultivate it and fall short. He seemed to have stumbled into it naturally. That image is now under serious pressure. Not from a single moment or a poorly worded comment, but from something harder to shake. Accumulated weight. Legal challenges are piling up. Internal documents have made their way out. People who were inside the operation are beginning to speak, and what they're outlining paints a very different picture from the highlight reel. What's emerging is the story of a machine that scaled at a pace nobody was truly prepared for, where the infrastructure, the leadership, and the accountability simply never kept up with the numbers. The warmth you see on screen may be real, but behind it, by multiple accounts, is a far messier reality.
Tonight, MrBeast's companies are facing a legal challenge of their own, just as Jimmy Donaldson himself took the stage at the Time 100 Summit as one of the world's most influential people. Former employee Lorraine Maveratis filing a federal lawsuit in North Carolina, claiming she faced discrimination, retaliation, was required to work while on maternity leave, and was terminated within a few weeks of returning to the job, told she was too high caliber for the position.
And the latest one? It might be the worst yet. On April 22nd, 2026, a former Beast Industries executive named Lorraine Maveratis filed a federal lawsuit. She joined the company back in 2022 as their head of Instagram. By every measure, she crushed it. Promoted twice in her first year, went from running one vertical to overseeing entire divisions in a matter of months. She called herself a rising star inside the company. And honestly, looking at her trajectory, that wasn't ego. That was just true. She respected Jimmy. She believed in the mission. She even gave up her own personal social media presence completely, because she didn't want a single person to think she was riding his name for clout. That's not someone walking in with bad intentions. That's someone who was all in. And then it all started to fall apart. According to the lawsuit, she was getting frozen out of meetings that were otherwise entirely male. She says she was talked down to in front of coworkers. She says she was harassed in ways no employee should ever have to deal with at work.
In the complaint, she alleges that she rose quickly inside the company after starting in 2022, but after raising concerns about sexual harassment, was demoted and transferred into what the lawsuit calls a division where, quote, careers go to die.
So in November 2023, she did the thing you're supposed to do. She filed a formal complaint. She sent it straight to the head of HR. Here's where it gets unhinged. The head of HR at Beast Industries was Sue Parisha, Jimmy Donaldson's mother. Let that sit for a second. She filed a harassment complaint at one of the biggest media companies on the planet, and that complaint landed on the desk of the boss's mom. After she filed it, the lawsuit says she got demoted, then she got pregnant, and what comes next is genuinely hard to read. Maveratis says nobody at Beast Industries ever told her about her rights under FMLA. That's the federal law guaranteeing 12 weeks of unpaid leave for things like, having a baby. She says the company had basically no real parental leave policy, so she was scared. Scared that if she stepped away, she'd lose everything she'd built.
The lawsuit also alleges Maveratis was contacted to work while on maternity leave, and that the company never gave her required notice of her rights under the Family and Medical Leave Act.
Jimmy Donaldson himself, he says that you've got to get the job done, and there's no excuses.
Her suit claims she feared retaliation if she refused to work during her leave, and was on a work conference call while in the labor and delivery room, and traveled to Brazil for a shoot with soccer star Neymar a few weeks after giving birth.
But if Neymar wins, I will donate it to whatever charity he chooses.
No mother would want to leave their newborn baby behind to go to work, especially out of the country when you're breastfeeding your baby. That's the last thing that I wanted to do.
So she didn't step away. She stayed on calls. She kept working. And the detail that stops you cold? She was on a Beast Industries work conference call while she was in active labor, in the hospital. Her own words, she was holding her breath between contractions so the people on the other end of the line wouldn't hear her. That's not loyalty, that's fear. And fear like that doesn't show up in a workplace by accident. Somebody builds it. 3 weeks after she came back from leave, they fired her. The reason they gave? She was too high caliber for her role. Beast Industries pushed back fast. Their spokesperson called the lawsuit a clout-chasing stunt built on twisted facts. They released internal Slack messages. They released a signed copy of the employee handbook, with her signature on it, saying she'd been told about her FMLA rights from day one.
Clout-chasing complaint is built on deliberate misrepresentations and categorically false statements, and we have the receipts to prove it. There is extensive evidence, including Slack and WhatsApp messages, company documents, and witness testimony that unequivocally refutes her claims. We will not submit to opportunistic lawyers looking to manufacture a payday from us.
They also claim it was Maveratis herself who asked to keep working through her maternity leave.
In by NBC News show Maveratis' signature on an employee handbook dated 4 days before giving birth, which laid out the company's maternity leave policies, something Maveratis says she doesn't remember.
So you never signed any sort of FMLA documents 4 days before you gave birth?
No, I do not recall signing, and I was never informed of my rights.
NBC News also reviewed a message in which Maveratis appears to express a willingness to go to Brazil.
So you've got two completely opposite stories. A jury will sort that out eventually. But there's one thing nobody is arguing about. One thing that isn't in dispute. And it came from Beast Industries' own internal company document, circulated to employees in 2025. Quote, "The amount of hours you work is irrelevant. No does not mean no." That's a real line. In a real document, at a company valued at $5 billion in 2025.
Absolutely unacceptable. Which rolls us right into page 19. No does not mean no. For the people out there who are saying, he's not edgy anymore, he's learned, this document is pretty new and references some of his newer videos. He has not learned. This is who he is. So the title No Does Not Mean No is a very obvious reference to essay. Instead of communicating in a professional manner, saying be persistent when you're producing or working, no does not mean no is the company culture of MrBeast.
You don't write that sentence by accident. You write it when you've stopped thinking anyone's ever going to read it from the outside. Now here's the thing. This isn't even where the legal mess started. The Maveratis case is just the newest layer. The foundation was already shaking long before she filed. Rewind to September 2024. 5 former contestants on Beast Games, Jimmy's giant Amazon Prime competition show, the one he literally called the magnum opus of his career, filed a class action lawsuit against his production companies and Amazon.
And popular YouTuber MrBeast and Amazon are facing a lawsuit over a new reality competition. 5 contestants say the show wasn't what they thought it was going to be and that they were misled from the start.
Since then, more contestants have piled on. If you're missing context, Beast Games was the biggest prize competition in TV history. 1,000 contestants, $5 million grand prize, $100 million budget. Jimmy hyped it as the thing he'd spent his entire career working up to. And when it dropped in December 2024, it shattered records. Multiple Guinness World Records, actually. On paper, total triumph. Behind the scenes, according to the people who were actually there, a different story entirely. The lawsuit alleges contestants were harassed on set. People got physically hurt during challenges and weren't given proper medical attention.
Several contestants said that they had not received their medication on time, including one contestant who needed insulin, instead receiving it hours or even days after their scheduled dosing times. This is so dangerous to a diabetic. This is awful.
Multiple contestants were carried out of the arena on stretchers.
Class action lawsuit claiming the Amazon Prime show exploited the labor of the contestants, alleging sexual harassment and a hostile work environment. The show, a partnership between MrBeast, Jimmy Donaldson, and Amazon Prime Video. Marketed Beast Games as the biggest reality competition series ever, with 1,000 contestants competing for a $5 million cash prize, the biggest single prize in the history of television and streaming. But now 5 of those contestants claiming the show didn't provide fair wages or even bare minimum legal working conditions. Many are still awaiting their promised reimbursement.
People weren't being fed properly, weren't getting enough sleep, weren't given meal breaks. Women were allegedly denied basic hygiene products for days at a time.
Several contestants said that when they had sought out production staff members for assistance with medical care, food, and hygiene issues, the staff members were often not helpful and appeared disorganized. Some staff members yelled and cursed at
And when they tried to complain? According to the Maveratis filing, male executives back at headquarters laughed about it. And this is the part that should make everybody pause, because now you've got 2 completely separate groups of people. The employees who built the company from the inside, and the contestants who walked onto the set as outsiders. And they're describing the exact same thing, the same culture, the same dismissiveness, the same rules don't apply here energy. When 2 groups who never met each other tell you the same story, that story stops being a story. It starts being evidence. The contestant lawsuit also threw in one of the strangest claims of all. They allege producers pressured contestants to sign fake paperwork so Beast Industries could illegally collect Nevada state tax credits. That's not a culture problem. That's a potential criminal one. When all this started leaking before the show even aired, Jimmy went on X and said there was tons of behind-the-scenes footage that would prove these claims were blown out of proportion, but that he couldn't release any of it because spoilers. He said basically the same thing on Good Morning America in February 2025. He told the host he had to let his lawyers handle it, but that he'd personally talked to 700 or 800 contestants, and everyone had a great time.
MrBeast's production company and Amazon hit with a proposed class action lawsuit filed in the fall by 6 anonymous contestants who claim sexual harassment, that they were misled, and that the show exploited them.
They say they were in unreasonable, unsafe, and unlawful employment conditions. How do you respond to that?
I got to let the lawyers handle that. I can't comment on it, but I can say I personally talked to 700-800 contestants. They all want to come back. They all had a great time, and you can watch their content online, and I think it speaks for itself.
700 or 800, just casually, like he sat down with each one. Amazon renewed the show for 2 more seasons, so the platform is clearly not running away from him. And financially, Beast Industries is still expanding. They raised $200 million at a $5 billion valuation in January 2026. By every business number on the spreadsheet, this empire is still climbing. But zoom out, look at the last few years as one full picture, and the pattern gets impossible to unsee. 2023, Jimmy sued MrBeast Burger over food quality. They turned around and countersued him for over $100 million, accusing him of using bullying tactics to strong-arm them out of the company.
They countersued MrBeast and Beast Ventures for breach of contract. Quote, "This case is about a social media celebrity who believes his fame means that his word does not matter, that the facts do not matter, and that he can renege and breach his contractual obligations without consequence. And Virtual Dining Concepts contends that when they contracted with Donaldson, the parties agreed that MrBeast would, quote, become the face of a virtual restaurant brand in exchange for a share of the revenue and later a stake in the business. VDC says that Donaldson was the one who pushed the rapid expansion of Beast Burger. Quote, while plaintiffs originally planned to open MrBeast Burger in a smaller select number of locations, defendants pushed plaintiffs to open MrBeast Burger in as many locations as possible.
2025, Mexican authorities opened an investigation after his Chichen Itza video. Officials say his team waited until after dark, climbed restricted structures, entered protected temples, and promoted Feastables products inside an archaeological site. The Mexican president herself called for a review of how the permits even got approved.
Mexican authorities suing a company they say helped YouTube megastar MrBeast produce this now viral video.
Why is this not in a museum? Why is a YouTuber holding this? Get this away from me.
Titled, I Explored 2,000-Year-Old Ancient Temples. The video has racked up over 60 million views in less than a week.
This is the door to the inside of this massive Mayan temple.
Authorities say the video taken inside the nation's ancient pyramids violated the terms of government permissions.
We're gonna visit this bad boy.
In the video, MrBeast, whose real name is James Donaldson, explores ancient Mayan cities in southeastern Mexico.
Can I take one home?
Well, I do. We'll go to jail.
I would go to jail?
Yeah, sure.
At one point, the influencer, who has 395 million subscribers on YouTube, surprised at the level of access.
I can't believe the government's letting us do.
2026. The Beast Games class action is still active. And now, the Maveratis federal lawsuit. Every single situation is different, but they're all pointing at the same thing underneath. A company that's been operating like the normal rules just don't apply to it. And that's really the heart of this whole thing.
But I wasn't as confident in my ability to be successful. And, you know, when you're probably 20 and you're hiring all these people, I have high risk tolerance, but I'm reinvesting every dollar I make. I'm hiring my friends from school. I've hired my mom. Like, these people I really care about are depending on me. And then, I upload a video and it does bad. And then people, I pour all my time and effort into it, but, maybe it doesn't come across as well. Like the video, and, some people might have interpreted it as lazy. And you read a comment being like, wow, what a fucking lazy. Like, I thought you made great videos. Or
Jimmy Donaldson is 27 years old. He built a $5 billion media company mostly on instinct, just reinvesting every dollar into bigger videos. His cousin became CEO. His mother ran HR. His childhood friends have been holding key positions since day one. That setup works when you're a kid grinding out YouTube videos from your bedroom. It does not work when you have 700 employees, a Prime Video series, a snack brand sitting on retail shelves, outside investors, and federal labor laws telling you exactly how you have to treat your people. And the real tragedy here, because it kind of is one, is that MrBeast built his entire brand on one word: generosity. The whole persona is built around giving. And now you have a former executive saying she was in active labor on a company call, terrified to hang up. You have contestants saying they didn't get food or medical care on a $100 million production. You have an internal document basically saying employees don't have the right to say no. The brand promise and the alleged reality aren't just different, they're opposites. And that contrast doesn't fade quietly.
This morning, a former employee is suing his production company.
I was yelled at, cursed at.
Lorraine Maveratis claims she was subject to sexual harassment and gender bias.
I was obligated to attend one-on-one meetings at the CEO's house by myself in an upstairs room only lit by a side lamp.
Her lawsuit claims male employees would tell women to shut up in meetings and mock female participants in MrBeast videos. She says after returning from maternity leave, she was fired.
And the reason was, and I quote, "You are too high of a caliber for this position."
Financially, Jimmy is going to be fine. He just got $200 million in fresh capital. Amazon's still renewing his shows. He has 500 million subscribers who will click whatever he uploads. The Maveratis case will probably settle. The Beast Games case will probably drag on for years. That's just how these things move at this scale. But reputation is a different ledger. MrBeast has spent more than a decade building one of the most carefully engineered public images in internet history. The generous guy. The guy making the world better. The guy who gives. And every lawsuit, every leaked document, every former employee who goes on the record, each one chips a little more off that image. And legal wins don't put those chips back on. You can win in court and still lose in the court of public opinion. And right now, Jimmy is being asked to answer for what's actually happening inside the empire he built. Not the videos, not the giveaways, the company. Because here's the part nobody at Beast Industries seems to have understood yet. The world will forgive a lot of things from a 27-year-old who got too big too fast. Mistakes, bad hires, even bad seasons. What it doesn't forgive is finding out the guy who sells generosity for a living couldn't be bothered to show any to the people working for him. That's the bill that's coming due, and no amount of subscribers is going to pay it. That's where things sit this week. All of it is still developing, and more is coming. There always is. If you want to keep up with how this thing unfolds, the verdicts, the new filings, the fallout, hit subscribe. This is exactly what we cover here. And drop a comment. Where do you land? Is this a systemic rot inside Beast Industries? Or is it just a company that scaled too fast and got sloppy? I'm curious. I'll catch you in the next one.